It's spooky season, witches. Round about the cauldron go, in the poison entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone days and nights has 31. Sweltered venom, sleeping got, boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. That's the expectation. The reality ends up looking more like this. And this is the reality. Dishes need to be done. I've got to fold laundry. And my kids need Halloween costumes. My kids usually start talking about Halloween next year as soon as Halloween this year is over, which is fun for me because I love making their costumes. And they generally change their minds about what they want to be every other week. But this year they're really into Pokemon. Homemade costumes give my kids an opportunity to dress however they want for Halloween. They're not limited to what the options are at the store. They changed their minds about which Pokemon they wanted to be several times. This year, my older kid wants to be Haunter, and my younger one wants to be Pikachu. While there are Pikachu costumes available far and wide, Haunter costumes are harder to come by. So come with me while I make Halloween costumes for my kids this year. It'll be a lot more fun than folding laundry.
I started out using this large metal bowl and the old cosplayer saran wrap and tape trick to make the pattern for the Haunter mask. I did a similar thing this day to try and make a Pikachu mask, but we'll talk about that later. Here I am laying out my pattern pieces flat and tracing them onto paper. I haven't done much foam construction, so I moved on to something that I'm a little bit more comfortable with, which is patterning the jumpsuit for Pikachu using a shirt and pants that fit my son. I also had to figure out what shape I needed Pikachu's tail to be. After cutting those pattern pieces out of the paper, I laid them onto my fabric and then pinned them into place. Because of the way I pinned them, I didn't actually need to make the cut that's in this shot, but here we are. Then I sewed everything together. I had some brown felt that I went ahead and used to make the brown markings on Pikachu's back and left a little spot for the tail to be attached.
Sorry if this transition is jarring. I'm coming at you today with an update. First of all, I tried working on the Pikachu mask. This was supposed to be it. It did not work out so well. I used this contact cement and it just didn't work for me. Not for this anyways. So, scrap that. Then, I got sick. Then, I got better. Then, I got sick again. Then I got some time yesterday to work on costume stuff. So I got started on Haunter. I wanted to film, but my camera battery was dead and I thought, I just have to get it done. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I did. I put together this claw shape out of aluminum foil and I did the whole plastic wrap and tape dance. Cut off the plastic to make plastic pattern pieces. Trace those onto paper. Now I have paper pattern pieces. Hooray! Cut that out of foam. And ended up with this. Success! Which feels really nice after that failure with the Pikachu mask. I think I'm just scrapping that whole pattern and gonna start over again. So, today I need to cut another one of these out, assemble another one of these, and we're gonna spray it with some Plasti Dip And I'm gonna figure out how to do the back half of this mask. And also these cone-shaped things. So yeah, that's what we got left. Let's get to work.
I got this scroll saw from a Goodwill a few years ago. It's heavy and rusty from being in my shed, but the nice thing about it is that I can angle the base so that I get a consistent 45-degree angle on these cuts, which was really helpful for this project.
All right, I just finished cutting out the foam pieces for the other Haunter hand. While I still have a power tool out, I am going to cut a piece of wood. But before I talk about that, I need to introduce you to somebody. All right, I want to introduce you to the newest member of our family. We got her just before we started getting sick. She is a leopard gecko, and isn't she the sweetest little thing? She has absolutely taken over our entire lives, and I'm not even joking.
Mom, what's for dinner?
Crickets.
Why?
That's what your sister wants to eat.
Anyways, it's not pretty, but I had to put together this lid for her cage because her enclosure didn't come with one.
It has been rainy, so I haven't had time to sand these foam pieces that I cut out. Even though it's not clear skies, we're supposed to have not rain for at least a little while. So I figured I have time to do some sanding. So let's get it done. All done. The weatherman lied to me. It is sprinkling right now. I guess it's not raining technically, so, But anyways, we're gonna take this show inside so I can finish gluing it together, and then maybe it'll clear up and I can get a little more sanding in to round out the edges after it's glued together. So let's go. All right, I have the hand all glued together. You can see all these sharp points. This little finger didn't turn out so well. I hope that I can maybe sand it down and get it looking a little better, and then maybe I can go in with some caulk and fill in some gaps and stuff. But we're gonna go ahead and put that respirator back on and sand down the corners to get them nice and rounded. Hi, what am I doing with a bowl in front of me? I've traced out some pattern pieces that I'm going to cut out and then put on the bowl, and then using the bowl structure, I will figure out how to make the back tail part of this mask portion.
There are really only two differences between the pattern pieces for the back and the pieces for the front, and those are that the front pieces have the spike segments coming out, and the back piece has to have this back swoosh that happens. I basically just laid out the paper and, using my admittedly amateurish knowledge of patterning, tried to figure out what shape the paper would need to be to come together and make the shapes that I ultimately wanted.
I did it. Here it is. I put together the back piece and it's all together. It's all right. It's all right. I think this will do the trick, and I'm just imagining little hands with him. Maybe I wish it was a little bigger, but you know what? We don't have time to fiddle anymore. This is what we've got. This is gonna work. We're moving forward.
Here I am just drawing the pattern pieces directly onto my white foam so that I can cut it out.
The camera ran out of battery yesterday, but I kept working because I have a deadline. So let me catch you up on what I did. cut out the back pieces and all the front pieces. I ran out of this white foam that I got on Amazon. So I went back to these gray floor mats that I had and I cut them out and I glued them together. These are the back pieces and they're too rigid. And as I was trying to fit them together, they were coming apart. So I was out of foam. So I had to go to Harbor Freight. This is what I got from Harbor Freight. The foam is a lot more flexible and it's actually closer to the same thickness as the white foam. It's actually a lot more flexible even than the white foam, I think. So I think it'll work a lot better for those back pieces, especially the ones that come up in the back that need to be bent and funky. Maybe my pattern isn't the best, but I don't have time at this point. I need to get it done. I need to recut out all of those back pieces and again, more gluing. So I did a no-no and I used a dull razor on these. And so I do need to sand all of these edges. I made more work for myself. And then I think I'll also need to figure out how to round out the spikes a little bit. Yeah, that's where I'm at with the project so far.
I would just apply the glue and hold the pieces together for about 10 seconds. This worked really well, and with a little practice, I didn't get too much on my fingers.
I have finished now gluing together all of the pieces for the back. This piece needs to be filled in. Hopefully that will work with the caulk. But yeah, that's the back of it. I kind of like it. Time to do the front half. Wish me luck. I have 4 of the front pieces together. It is very gratifying to see this like dome shape and really exciting. The next part is going to be the rest of the face. I'm excited, it's coming together.
I glued the front pieces together with the eye parts attached so that I could line it up more easily. I then attached all the rest of the pieces and cut the mouth out like a jack-o'-lantern. I applied caulk off camera and then the next day I went ahead and sprayed with the Plasti Dip. I used pen to mark some of my pattern pieces and unfortunately it just kept showing through all of the paint layers that I ended up doing. Additionally, the foam texture wasn't great. I think that I probably should have hit it with a heat gun before I ever even started gluing. I also struggled to get the caulk very smooth. In any case, I took it inside and added a layer of gesso and a layer of white paint before then going in with some glow-in-the-dark paint and covering all of that up.
All right, I'm happy to say that I finished the costumes and they turned out nice. Actually, I think that they will work for Halloween. They're also fairly sturdy, which is also an important thing because my kids will wear their costumes all the time. It is, as of the time of filming, a few weeks before Halloween and the Pikachu costume has already seen some good wear. I wish I could have gotten the Pikachu mask made. I wish I could have made it myself and made it kind of like a full head helmet mask. However, my attempts would have been nightmarish. So I'm really glad that I ended up purchasing the mask. However, I do think that having made one would have ended up with a nicer end result if I would be able to actually have the skill to make it look nice. The Haunter mask, I didn't have the option of just buying, so I'm glad that that ended up working out, because otherwise I don't know what I would have done. I wish that the glow in the dark paint wouldn't be so streaky. I think I could have achieved a streak-free paint job if I were to use spray paint, which I think might have worked, but I didn't use it because I was afraid that it would flake off, and we really don't want that to happen. So another thing about the Haunter is that I did have the option to use a purple glow paint, but my son specifically said he didn't want it to be purple. I'm not sure how I could have achieved it, but I wish that the Pikachu tail wasn't curling over one way or another, and I'm not entirely sure how to fix that. So if you know, why don't you drop a few lines in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more of what I do. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.